All right.
What about is it this?
Anthony, almost finished. All right, I have a seat.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Okay, so did I refocus?
Yeah.
Can you see the whole board or not?
Yeah. You can see it.
I have all the good markers.
Man, flexing.
Yeah. This one I can color code, and you can see the orange is on. All right. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna deal with chain rule with trig. Okay. Chain rule
Is this gonna be on the quiz?
with trig.
Yeah.
Okay. So let's start by you know how to derivative all the functions, right? What is d to the dx of sine of x is what? Okay. What's d to the dx of cosine of x? Okay. So what is d to the dx of tan of x? Huh?
Secant squared x.
And cotan? Negative c squared of x, right? D to the dx of secant of x is going to be
Sexy tan.
sexy tan, okay, fine. Derivative of CSC of x is equal to negative CSC of x and no cotan of x. So you should have this all memorized for today's homework. Are we close to today's homework? Are we enough?
Oh, thank you.
And now, what we're going to do is we're going to take a derivative of sine of 3x. Okay, so this is a very easy one that you just have to take. There is a chain rule. The reason why there's a chain rule is right here. There is a sine is the outer function. So if you think about f of x and g of x, in this case, that g of x is 3x, f of x is sine of x. Does that make sense? So technically, there is a bubble here, okay, and there is a bubble here. So what we're going to do is take a derivative of the sine first. So what do you think the answer is?
Cosine 3x.
Cosine 3x, that's it? No.
Cosine.
Cosine 3x times 3, thank you. Times 3 in the front. Okay. So what is d to the dx of tangent of x minus x squared?
Secant squared x times.
No, just do it on your paper and make sure everybody on the same track.
Phone is ringing.
Hello?
The phone is ringing.
Yeah. Yeah, okay, thank you so much. I'll come pick up like a little bell ring. Okay. So now what's the derivative of this one? Secant squared of what? X minus x squared, right? Times what? 1 minus 2x. Good. But probably better to place that 1 minus 2x in the front because this does not belong, this here does not multiply with this because you'll get confused. So put it in the front, 1 minus 2x to the secant square of x minus x squared. Does that make sense? You don't want to multiply in the back because they get confused that this and this. You don't want to multiply those two together. So you want to put in the front. It's actually a term in the front. Got it? And so your next thing is, I'm gonna go do a bunch of things in a second. So
You have to rearrange on the test,
what?
on the quiz.
You do have rearrange because you wanna make it clear that what is where I want. Yeah. So we're gonna go through a bunch of things right here. So we're gonna start with I want you to try to take a derivative of this one. Sine of square root of 2x. Oh, actually, this one's kind of hard. We'll do that at the end. I don't want to do this one. So here we're gonna start with a is d to the dx of cosine of 3x squared. B d to the dx of cosine of 3 parenthesis x squared. C d to the dx of cosine of 3x squared. It looks like very, very similar to each other. D is cosine square of x. I'm gonna say d to the dx. And E is gonna be d to the dx of square root of cosine of x. And then F will be d to the dx of cosine of square root of 2x. So it gets everything is kind of confusing from the first one to the second one to the third one to the fourth one to the fifth one to the sixth one. So you guys clearly understand where the parenthesis location is. I think a lot of time in mathematics, I keep on saying this. I think I've been saying this throughout a long time. Is in order for you to understand mathematics, is you have to understand the location of parentheses. If you don't have parentheses in mathematics, it's like writing an essay without space bars. So imagine you just keep on typing without a space bar. You're dysfunctional space bar. So there is no way for you to separate the word. It's gonna be a one long words. Okay? So you really need to understand where the spacing is, and that's how you learn a new language too, is learning the space between words. So if I want to learn Spanish, I can learn all the vocab, but I cannot hear the space between words. I just think all you guys talk really fast, and I cannot pick up the language. Or you listen to Chinese people talk, you think they talk really fast, but you cannot hear the space between words. Okay, yes?
Mr. Ye, are you allowed to now? The space, the empty bowl. No.
No idea what you're
What is the
Yes, sir.
math allowed to?
On the math line, the first part.
Huh?
The sine 3x.
Sine
Why'd
3x?
you do product?
I didn't do product rule. I did chain rule. So first I didn't take it, remember that was a sine of 3x, right? So 3x is within the sine of x.
Okay.
So I'm gonna take a derivative of the sine first, and then multiply by derivative, which is 3. Is that confusing to a lot of people? Hopefully not. Let me know. I mean, I thank Andre for asking a question because he kind of got confused. Because I need to make sure you guys understand this. And derivative of 10 of this function within 10x. So you make sure that you answer that. Okay, now we're gonna go through this. So what do you think the first one derivative is? And then write it down. What do you think it is first before I ask you? So Ariana, what do you think?
6x times 3x.
Yes. So first of all, you're gonna take the derivative of the cosine, right? So that's equal to negative sine of 3x squared, and take a derivative of the 3x squared. So I'm gonna write it in the front so I don't confuse in the back. So I'm gonna take a derivative of 6x squared, which is 6x. So I'm gonna put it in the front, 6x. Does that make sense? Yes, I accidentally erased it. So negative 6x sine of 3x squared. So this one's good. Next one's kind of challenging.
Yeah.
Well, first of all, you understand. First, you have to understand what is cosine of 3. What do you think cosine of 3 is?
Non-existent.
What?
Non-existent.
What'd you say?
Non-existent.
It does exist.
Okay.
No. No.
Wait, what's the answer for B?
No, I'm asking just what's cosine of 3. What is inside a parenthesis? If you're good,
Cosine of 3 is 1.
no.
Seriously?
It's the negative.
So what is cosine of 3?
So if you go 1, 2, 3.
That's exactly what I thought.
No.
It's not high, it's not.
Exactly.
It's not-
So, okay, so that's a good question, right? So this question is a little bit more difficult because you guys don't understand math very well.
Okay, thank you.
And no, I'm responsible for it, trust me, because I tell you pre-calc and you're supposed to know what cosine of 3 is. So I'm gonna teach you again. So, but just not only, all the pre-calc teachers don't explain it well, including me. So, what is cosine of 3? Cosine of 3, what is cosine of pi first?
1.
Negative
one.
-1, right? So what is cosine, this one is same thing as 3.14, right?
Oh.
So what is cosine of 3? Well, it's almost -1.
Okay, but that's like.
Approximately negative.
It's
That's
almost, it's like 0.9 something, right? So
Yeah.
we don't know what that value is, so it'll be like, let's say probably roughly 0.8 to 0.9-ish. I don't know, what is it? To negative 0.8 to -1. Right, so it's gonna be from this value to this value, or -1 to 0, whatever. But anyway, it's probably somewhere close to negative 0.9. Okay, we're gonna say somewhere 0.9 something. Okay. So we don't care about what that value, but imagine that we don't care that value. What is that value? It's a constant. So in the case, this is a constant multiple rule. So that means I only need to focus on the x squared. I'll go ahead and take a derivative of the x squared. It's going to give me 2x times cosine 3. Because the cosine 3 is like 3. Imagine if I take a derivative of 3x, right? So derivative of 3x squared was a constant. Do I take a 3 out? Yes. D to the dx of x squared, right? So I just take a derivative of the x squared, which is, in this case, I'm going to take a derivative of x squared, which is 2x. Right? Times by cosine of 3. Now I put a 2 in the front, rewrite it, times x, and that's my final answer. And make sure there's a parenthesis right here.
Wait, it's not like 2x times cosine of 3. Like, why'd you take out the x from it?
Put a 2 in the front of cosine, so you don't confuse. Because technically it's this one here. So the 2 is in the front, so 2 cosine 3, parenthesis, x. Yeah,
Why are you allowed to put the 2 inside the?
because 2 is a multiplication.
So why can't you put
Yeah,
2x in
with
the
the-
parentheses? Why don't you put it 2x in the parentheses? Like the-
Yeah.
Like, why does it matter?
Put 2 in, but keep x on.
You can do that too, but that's not technically. If you put 2x in parentheses and don't put cosine 3, that's fine too. Either one, I'm acceptable.
Could you put x cosine 3 and 2 on the outside?
What? X what?
Like
The
2x
cosine
cosine
3
and 2 on the
I always
outside.
put a variable in the end. So this is a constant, right? 2 times that constant times x.
But hypothetically, like what's happening? Why
Okay.
is it inside?
Why can't it be outside?
Yeah, why
too?
can't-
Can't it be
Yeah.
outside?
Why can't you just leave that stuff?
What do you want to write in?
Can you write it 2x cosine
2x?
3?
Cosine 3.
Cosine of 3?
Yes,
Yeah.
can you write
You
it?
can.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, well,
But I just write I write an x in the back. You don't write x2. You write 2x.
what's the matter? You want.
When's the last time you write down x2?
Yeah, like last night. There was a lot of problems.
What, x2?
1 over 3x.
Okay, so what do you think the derivative of this one is?
That's a good question.
Oh,
Don't skip it because you actually know this. Well, it's not so hard as it looks. You do math first before you do calculus.
Oh, well, I think
Now 2 is gonna be what? Distribute inside, right? So can I say that's also rewrite as d to the dx? I haven't taken derivative yet. I'm just saying cosine of 9x squared.
So
That's
f,
it.
wait, so f of x isn't cosine x squared? So what's f, is f of x just cosine?
F of x is the cosine of x. The g of x is 3x squared.
Oh.
So now if I take a derivative, that's gonna be what? Negative sine of 9x squared times what? Times 18x. I put it in the front. So it's equal to negative 18x. Because I gotta take a derivative of the cosine, which is negative sine 9x squared, but I take a derivative of 9x squared is 18x. Now the next one is a big one. This one is a must pay attention. Okay, this one don't actually test it a whole lot. You don't understand it, okay, so be it. I don't care. But this one you need to understand, you can distribute that. This one's a chain rule, but this one's a big one because you need to know the notations. What do I mean by notation? So what is cosine square of x? Or we're gonna use in sine. We're gonna say sine square of x. Okay, that's equal to sine x squared. But that's not equal to sine of x squared. Hopefully you guys see the difference.
Yeah.
Because this one's x squared, this one's sine x parentheses to the square, this one's sine square of x, exactly same notation as this. But I usually write it in this notation because that's easier for me to understand. I write this one, sometimes I do write it like this, but a lot of time I write like this, especially I go into the bubbles. We're gonna talk about that. So can I say that that's equal to d to the dx of cosine of x to the square?
No.
Yeah. So now I'm gonna take a derivative of this one. Now be careful, this is a chain rule. What do you think the answer is?
Negative 2 sine cosine
You're missing something.
Negative 2
x.
sine.
You put the 2 in the front, then you cosine.
There we go. You're missing an x. So if I were to take a derivative, right? I'm gonna take a 2 first.
Yeah.
Down, parenthesis cosine of x, right?
Yeah.
Times the derivative of cosine of x is what? Negative sine of x. So that's equal to what? Negative 2 cosine of x, sine of x. Or also is equal to negative sine of 2x. That's also because that's the double angle identity.
Oh, okay.
But you don't remember that, so that's okay. If you do remember, it's negative 2 cosine sine cosine sine x cosine x 2. 2 times sine x cosine x equal to sine of 2x. Got it? We haven't get to the hard part yet.
Okay.
Okay, so now I'm gonna do, if you have a problem, you can always go back to watch your video. So this one's cosine of x to the 1/2 power, right?
Yeah.
So do you know how to take a derivative of this one?
The 1/2, negative 1/2 sine.
So I'm gonna say this is equal to d to the dx. So there's a parenthesis to the exponents. The exponents, gonna take it down in the front and subtract by 1, so it'll be 1/2 cosine of x to the negative 1/2. Am I done? Times what? Negative sine of x. And if you want to change to the negative 1/2,
Wait,
Uh,
shouldn't it be negative sine of x to the
square
1?
root of cosine of x and sine of x.
Wait, shouldn't sine of x have like an exponent on it?
Nope. Because you only take it to the inside, not the outside. I don't care about what happened outside now.
Okay.
Now this one is a, Gianfranco on the last period was struggling with this one. He said, I don't understand this one. So this one is a little bit higher tier questions, I would say, a little bit above the scale of what the sound might be in, which is good, because you guys cannot just always go with what the things is. So I will rewrite that cosine of 2x to the 1/2. But obviously that 1/2, well, we can do it two ways though, we're gonna talk about that. So we're gonna say it right here. We're gonna take a derivative of that. So what do I take a derivative first?
Cosine.
Cosine, right? So it'll be sine of 2x to the 1/2.
Negative sign.
Okay, negative sign. So are we okay here? Now we're gonna take a derivative of the square root of 2x. What's the derivative of square root of 2x? Well, 2x to the 1/2, right? So can I bring the 1/2 in the front? Times 2x to the negative 1/2? Times 2, don't forget that 2, yes. The 2 is important. Because first of all, I take a derivative of the sine, or derivative of cosine is negative sign. Keep everything inside the same. Take a derivative of this, 1/2 times 2x to the negative 1/2, times derivative of the inside, which is 2. So now, I'm going to do this, cancel out. That will go to negative sine of square root of 2x over square root of 2x on the bottom. And that's my final answer here. Now this one's kind of hard. This one's I would say it's more a difficult one. But all that, we're going to talk about the most difficult one here. So, but I'm going to show you a trick to do it though. I'm going to start with this function, sine to the third power, and the cosine of 3x. So I'm going to show you how to do this one. I'm going to give you the next one as an example. I'm going to give you a couple for you to try.
Wait.
What does that 3 mean? Cube, right? It's the whole thing cube. Does that make sense?
Yep.
Can I say that?
Yeah,
cosine.
Sine of cosine of 3x,
Cube.
the whole thing, I use a bracket to the cube. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Because that's the third power, just like when we talked about the other one, which is earlier I talked about this one here. Sine square of x, that makes it equal to sine x to the square. Okay, we talked about that, that's a notation difference. Now I'm going to take a derivative of this. Now here's, I'm going to show you a trick. If you follow this trick, then you'll always get this answer correct. Always. Unless you screw up, which is possible. So you draw bubbles. And the bubble is going to be the outer function first. So the outer function is going to be this part. Which is the 3. Does that make sense? The next function is going to be here. And next function is going to be here. And there is a function right next to here. Okay, so if you understand that 3x is within the cosine, and if you understand that cosine of 3x is within sine, if you understand the sine of cosine of 3x is within x to the cube. It's like a Russian doll. I don't remember like a Russian doll.
Franco, you would know.
Katarina actually told me how to say it.
How do you do it?
So I'm going to take a derivative of this. So I'm going to start with the outermost, which is the 3. So I'm going to drop the 3 in the front, and then just copy everything inside. Sine of cosine of 3x and square. That's just the first bubbles. Are we okay here?
Then you have to multiply.
And then I'm going to multiply the inside, which is what? Derivative of sine is what?
Cosine.
Cosine. But you still keep everything inside. You do not lose them, because students tend to lose this part. I'm going to tell you where did I lose. Cosine of cosine 3x times what?
Negative sine 3x.
Negative sine of 3x, good, times 3. And that 3 and 3 is gonna 3 in constant, so this part here, negative sine 3 and 3, I'm just gonna be negative 9. I can rewrite this as sine square of cosine of 3x times cosine of cosine 3x. See how I keep my parentheses? You really need to understand your parentheses rules.
You missed the first.
I did?
Yeah, the first, in like the first bracket, it's cosine parentheses.
Yeah, 3x.
I mean, that's me thinking, since you said you didn't forget.
You need another one.
Maybe close it.
You have sine open parentheses.
Damn it. Son of a carnival. Okay, so I'm gonna ask you to take a derivative of this one. Do you want a hard one or easy one?
That's the same thing.
Oh, yeah. Just get a notebook.
This one's kind of long.
And
Write it down. Compare it with each other.
Oh.
It's funny, you and Abraham always like standing when you're learning.
That's because there's so many people, like when Franco moves one side, then Anna moves the other side, and I can't see at all.
So both sides.
So it's
Franco,
like,
you got big head. That's what I'm
Is
saying.
that what you're saying?
Big brain.
It's holding on knowledge.
Well, luckily you're not sitting behind Zachary with all the hair. You're gonna see anything. Like, Nicole's like.
No, I can see it. You like something
No,
on
I lean down.
Yeah, Franco just continues to move.
How am I moving, bro?
Bro, yeah, once you move, Anna moves, and then I literally can't see nothing. I feel bad for Nick. Like, Nick just sits there.
You can't see it.
Nick has an iPad also.
Oh,
Actually, I
yeah,
can
he had-
barely see it. It's too tiny.
iPad? Or the Word?
Both.
Oh, great.
Very cool.
You can move to the front if you want.
Wait, hold up, my wire.
Yeah, it's pretty long.
This is gonna take over.
Don't forget about sexy 10.
Yeah.
Oh, man, I was gonna continue it, but it's a live stream.
Wait, the
wait, there's
whole,
more to it?
the whole.
Yeah, there's an entire thing for all of them.
PG
R
version.
section?
It's like an
I need
R-rated
time to
version.
come up with a
R
PG
rated.
version. Alright, so you get your good tan, and you wanna play with two,
Yeah.
friends, cause they'll like you. Because you have a nice
Did I
tan.
get it?
I don't know, we're gonna do it together.
No, it definitely only works sexually.
So I'm gonna say that's gonna be tangent
Wait, Mr. Hughes,
of
second.
cosine
You should do it on the middle.
of secant of 3x. You should do it middle.
Yeah, just move it.
It's
Square
root of 2x.
I haven't done that. Oh, yeah, I know.
Theta dx. I'm gonna change that, well, I'm gonna rewrite that question.
Oh, yeah,
3
That's so much work.
to the cosine of secant, no, it's actually brainless work.
It says brainless, but I'm running out of paper.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So what I do is I will put a tangent to the cosine of secant 3x to the third power bracket. So now I'm kind of drawing a bubble here. That's the tangent one, and there's a 1 here. So there's a 3 first. So it's gonna be 3 tangent square to the cosine of secant of 3x.
You added another one, that's what.
And
Yeah, so that one's even longer than what we did.
Oh,
You did originally. You added the.
Yeah, why is
text
this
wrong.
one just square?
So that's
put
5
the two.
Isn't this?
instead of 3.
Yeah, but
It adds two.
So 2, I can write it inside, so
Yeah.
I don't have to write it on a bracket. So times by the derivative of tangent is what?
Section 10.
Square, right? So you have to keep everything inside though. A lot of people forget about this part, and on the test, I'm gonna take points off.
Is it sec 3x?
Okay? Secant square, right? Now what's the derivative of the cosine? Negative sine of secant
How'd you get?
of 3x.
Oh, no.
Now I'm gonna take a derivative of secant, which is 3x times tangent of 3x times by 3.
I missed.
I don't think I got right.
Oh my god.
Wait.
No, don't worry.
Isn't it just?
Huh? Because you gotta keep it inside the sand.
Oh, no.
Okay, so let me repeat again. The 3 drop down, right?
Oh, I did
To
it.
make the 2, right? And then cosine secant of 3x inside times derivative of the tangent, which is second bubble. So it's gonna be secant squared and all the thing inside. Don't forget all the thing inside. Some people just forget this part. And then times the cosine, which is the third bubble here. The cosine is a negative sign and keep everything inside.
Watch.
And then, can those two combine though? No, because the one is within the sign, one is not within the sign, so you gotta be careful with that one. So here it's gonna be secant of 3x times tangent of 3x because it's actually 10.
Right. Yes.
And then derivative of the 3x was 3. And then you can multiply everything. You can put a 3 in the front and negative sign in the front, so it's gonna be negative 9. So that's my final answer. It's pretty long. Perfect time.